The pygmy goat, a dwarf goat from Africa. They came from several different breeds in Africa, but once they were in this country, they were all amalgamated into one group and just called the pygmy goat. They are in size about 40 to 50 centimetres to the withers, knee height. They can live for 10 to 15 years, that's what the book says, but I've got one that's about 14 and could probably live for another 4 years by the looks of things. Oh, a little bit of a tussle going on there. They have a pecking order, as you can see, and disagreements once in a while. If you're looking to own pygmy goats, you'll find that a breeder will only sell them in pairs, unless you have a pair of goats already and want to add to your herd. They are a herd animal and would be very unhappy on their own. The Pygmy Goat Club holds a herd book which registered stock goes on to, and so if you buy registered stock you will know their full history and what would be suitable breeding for them if you wanted to breed in the future. They don't do rain. They're very good at knowing when rain is coming, so they will need a barn, a shed, a shelter of some sort. They keep themselves warm quite well, so it doesn't need to be toasty and enclosed. It needs good ventilation. Their diet is mostly hay, although you'll see that they're eating a bit of grass at the moment. They're browsers, not grazers, so they won't graze the grass down to a perfect level, as you'll see down here. So their diet is mostly hay, with a little bit of hard feed. I give them their dinner in the evening and they get their little bit of hard feed. You can supplement that with quite a few things. The main one that I get around here is willow, which they really love. And there's also willow herb and various plants and branches that you can supplement their diet with, which they'll enjoy. You do have to watch out for poisonous things, and that will be your rhodies, laurels, honeysuckle. You'll find a list online of all poisonous plants. They need a salt lick. I use a lump of Himalayan rock salt. They will need their feet trimmed every 4 to 6 weeks. Now I'm quite lucky here, we have quite rocky ground and they have an area of hard standing, so they don't need their feet trimmed very often here, but in a paddock setting you may find that they need their feet trimmed every 4 weeks. If you're buying from a breeder, you should find that the breeder will show you how to do this. It's quite simple, it's just like cutting your nails. Twice a year you should do a worm count for them, and they do need treatment for lice, ticks, that sort of thing. Not very many things are licensed for goats, so you'll have to speak to your vet about getting the correct treatment. If you have sheep, it's the same. usually the same medication as sheep, but given sometimes in different doses. So again, speak to your vet. So you're new to goats, you may wish to breed, so obviously you'll be wanting to have some girls, but if you're not and just want them as pets, castrated boys make very good pets. Obviously an advantage of 2 castrated boys is their natures don't change when they come into season or anything like that, and girls can be very vocal when they're in season. And they're in season every 3 weeks and possibly up to about 4 or 5 months a year. I've had ones come into season 4 weeks after kidding. So that can be quite often they're in season. The gestation period, excuse me, is 145 to 150 days. And you wouldn't breed your young females before they're 18 months old. They need to grow and get to a decent size and then be introduced to a billy. You will find there are legal requirements. Before you can have your goats, you will need to speak to animal health and get a holding number and a flock number. That's your local animal health office in Scotland. It would be Ayr, Galashiels, Inverness, Inverurie or Perth. When you get your goats, they will come with a movement document which will have your information on and where they've come from. They will also have 2 identifiers. That will be 2 ear tags or 1 ear tag and a pastern tag. And that will be their number for life. That will have the individual number that goes with them throughout their lives. It also indicates where they've come from. As you'll see here, I've just got normal stock fencing to keep them in. Because it's very rough ground, you'll notice maybe that some bits have got wooden slats at the bottom because of just the way that the fencing went. It was difficult to get it in between the rocks, but normal stock fencing will keep them in, unless, like here, there's a rather large boulder next to the fence which somebody could actually stand on and jump over, but in general they don't seem to. The only issue I've had this year was, I'll try and zoom in and show you, which I'm not so sure I can. If you notice, that little boy there was rather keen on the ladies, and he decided he could walk up the stay of a corner fence post and do a Fosbury flop over the fence over the fence to see the girls. I couldn't understand why he was always getting in with the girls when we'd done all the fencing perfectly. But they're quite clever when they have a reason to be. There is a very nice showing community for Pygmy Goats. A few of us are rather competitive, but well, we all like a rosette, and we're very proud of our goats. But it's a nice day out to go to an agricultural show, hopefully in the future, after all this bug thing is over, and meet like-minded people and talk about goats. And on a day like this, a nice ice cream too. If you're hoping to get goats in the future, you can visit the Pygmy Goat Club website. They have a breeders list and area advisors. You can speak to your area advisor for information, or select a breeder in your area and speak to them. See if there's when they're breeding, when kids will be available. My boys are over that side of the fence having a wee munch, and that's one of the boys across there, Ben Nevis, with his house. Little Kincaid. Oh, I can't see. He's well blended into the rocks, I can't see him. And this is their hilly area that they enjoy. And now I'll walk down and just show you their barn. So this is their rough hilly area with a bit of grazing that they enjoy. Hello Tilly. She'll be pregnant. Rather a deep belly there. And I'll just work my way down and show you the accommodation that they have. This is their hard standing with some toys on for the winter, which they enjoy. It's very handy. In winter they don't like to get their feet too wet, so they don't go up the hillside very often, but this hard standing area they use a lot. And into their barn. Hello ladies. We've encouraged everybody down. I pen them all individually because I don't want the bossier ones eating all the food. That's not for everybody, that's not everybody's setup, but it works for me. So every pen has a hay rack and a water bucket. They get fed in the evening, and then it's just left open all day. We also have CCTV in here so that I can see what's going on at kidding time, because you don't want to bother them too much, but you want to know what's going on. There's Heidi. The best bet, if you are hoping to get pygmy goats, is find a breeder locally and see if you can visit them. I let people come here and visit whatever they want, because I'd rather people knew what to expect than got them and it didn't work out for them. So speak to people. I think that covers the basics of pygmy goats. Thank you for watching. Enjoy.